I just became a mom of 2 daughters. So let's talk about this centuries-old conspiracy that cats control humanity. I'm just kidding, but if you look at the history, I kind of believe it, to be honest, because they've basically been running human society for thousands of years at this point. Now, if you lived in ancient Egypt, your cat wouldn't just be your pet. It would be something much more closer to a divine roommate. For over 3,000 years, cats held an incredibly special place in Egyptian society. Egyptians believed that cats reflected the traits of powerful deities and could even act as vessels for divine energy. One of the most famous was Bastet, the goddess of home, fertility, joy, and protection. And she was often depicted as a woman with the head of a cat. She was known to be watchful, protective, and nurturing. However, earlier versions of Bastet were actually shown with a lioness, representing a more dangerous, fierce form of divine protection. And over time, as cats would become domesticated, mind you, they domesticated themselves in the Fertile Crescent. So their imagery softened into the head of cats that we recognize today. Cats became the perfect symbol of this dual nature. They could be gentle and affectionate one moment and deadly hunters the next. And that hunting ability was incredibly important because Egypt's entire civilization depended on massive grain stores along the Nile. These grain supplies would attract rodents that could easily spread diseases and things, so the cats protected these stores by hunting mice and even killing snakes and scorpions that could threaten people. So cats weren't just cute companions, they were protectors of the food supply and household safety. Because of this, harming a cat in ancient Egypt was considered a very serious crime. Even accidentally killing one could carry the death penalty. Wealthy families dressed their cats in jewels. Some even let their cats eat from their own plates. And when a cat died, the household would go into mourning. Owners would often shave their eyebrows off as a sign of grief until they grew back. Cats were also mummified, sometimes buried with their owners so that they could accompany them into the afterlife. And over time, this became such a massive religious practice that temples began breeding cats specifically for mummification, and millions of cats would become mummies, and they would be discovered by archaeologists. Ironically, when some of those mummies were excavated in the 1800s, British archaeologists would ship them back to England, where many of them would be ground up and used as fertilizer. And Egypt wasn't the only culture that valued cats. In ancient China, farmers worshipped a cat goddess named Li Shou, believed to protect crops from pests. In Japan, cats guarded temple manuscripts from mice. And the famous Maneki Neko, the beckoning lucky cat statue that you often see, it would become a symbol of prosperity. Even Norse mythology had sacred cats. The goddess Freya rode in a chariot pulled by 2 of them. But cats' reputation would take a very dark turn in medieval Europe. During the Middle Ages, cats, especially black cats, would become associated with witchcraft and the devil, and many were killed during waves of superstition. Ironically, historians believe that killing so many cats may have made the Black Death worse because rodent populations exploded at this time. Eventually, cats would regain their reputation as helpful companions and pest hunters by the 1600s, and their status would begin recovering again. Today, cats are not necessarily seen as vessels of the god anymore, but interestingly enough, a lot of cultures believe that they have special spiritual abilities. I believe it too. Across different traditions, cats are often described as highly intuitive animals that can sense the energy around them. And some believe they act as guardians of the home, absorbing or neutralizing negative energy. Others believe that cats can sense things that humans can't, which is why they sometimes stare or hiss at what looks like empty space. Their purring has even been associated with calming and healing effects, helping bring balance to the people around them. In folklore and spiritual traditions, cats are sometimes seen as teachers of mindfulness, reminding humans to rest, trust their instincts, and be present. All right. Come on. And when a cat rubs its head against you, it's something called bunting. Some traditions say they're actually sharing their protective or their astral energy with you. Additionally, cats today are internet royalty. From memes to viral videos to million-follower catfluencers, they dominate modern culture in a completely different way now. Side note, I was actually slightly worried because I do like to travel, like when we initially got them. But then out of nowhere, I started getting videos on my FYP of different catfluencers who are traveling cats that fly on airplanes and hike and everything. So what I'm saying is prepare to be sick of us. But back to what I was saying. If you look at the way that cats behave, the confidence, the independence, the assertion of boundaries, the way they expect to be worshipped in a lot of ways, you kind of get this feeling that they never forgot that they are sacred. And if your cat ignores you while you're talking to them, one of its ancestors probably did the exact same thing to a pharaoh as well. This is young. It's my daughter. And this is Yin, my other daughter. All right, until next time, y'all.